like you said, very stern, sat in his seat. On the other hand, we've got a close-up of Oliver Glasner chatting to his staff, smiling away. It's very relaxed and happy, the Crystal Palace manager.
He's got a devil of a job, Igor Tudor. And as to Eddie's point about cuddling him, when he played, you wouldn't want to cuddle him. He was a really tough centre-back and a very good one. Won 2 titles at Juventus, played in that wonderful Croatian World Cup 98 side. He now has a job of steering Tottenham away from relegation peril. Off we go, Palace in the red and blue shirts, blue shorts and blue socks, kicking from left to right against Tottenham's white and navy blue.
Yeah, I'm just looking the way that Tottenham have lined up, because we were talking about, we weren't with JP, we weren't sure where Archie Gray was going to play, and it looks like they've gone back to a 5 with Solskjaer as left wing back, Archie Gray as right wing back, and Porro as the right of a back 3.
And Palhinha in midfield with Sarr. So another change, back to a back 5 from Igor Tudor with Pedro Porro. I don't think I've seen him play as the right side of a centre-back 3 before for Spurs. I could be wrong. In comes the throw from Richards. It's stabbed towards Wharton, and a powerful early goal attempt is pushed away by Guillermo Vicario. That was moving.
Well, you talk about confidence. There's the confidence that you need, Vicario, because that's a wonderful save. Wharton, 10 yards out, just manages to fall at his feet, doesn't it, on that sweet left peg of his, and he drills it into the floor, skips up relatively close to the goalkeeper, but he was travelling. Really good save by the Spurs number 1.
There's an old saying in the game, footballers can't simply turn it on and off like a tap, and sometimes the opening stage of a game can be reflected earlier in the warm-up, and Spurs' warm-up wasn't particularly good. Palace's was tenacious, and I would say, Glenn, you know more about it than I, that Tottenham's was lackadaisical.
Yeah, I mean, it did look like that. They were playing boxes, weren't they? A couple of closers down in the box, and I understand you don't want lads ratting around, winning the ball back, destroying that confidence. It's that balance, but yes, it wasn't quite as intense as Crystal Palace's. But let me tell you, Crystal Palace today will fancy this.
Igor Tudor stirs out again. He's lost his last 5 games as a manager, 2 at Tottenham, previous 3 at Juve, hasn't won in 10. And Palace leave Jørgen Strand Larsen 10 yards inside the Tottenham half, and he's marked very deep there by Kevin Danso, and now everyone comes back to them. That was strange.
Yeah, it was very strange, wasn't it? 10 yards, that's a big 10 yards, by the way, JP.
They just left him up there, and well, they pushed him up for a reason. And here's Crystal Palace's right side defender, JD Cabot, only young. He's made a few mistakes in his early Crystal Palace career. Came from Toulouse in the summer for £23 million. He turns 20 in June. He will learn. Chris Richards has been excellent for them, but they will miss their suspended centre-half today, who has been absolutely superb for them since joining. Well, not start off with actually Maxence Lacroix, but in the last couple of years. Kamada goes in for a block challenge with Sosa, the teenage Brazilian. The ball springs away to the Crystal Palace right-hand side, where it's launched up towards Strand Larsen. He's onside and he feeds Evan Guesson. He was very bright when he came on at the weekend and looks like a good signing for them.
Yeah, he does, yeah. He settled into life at Crystal Palace really well. A few goal involvements. Finding his feet in a Palace shirt rather quickly. Evan Guesson
on loan from Villa, they've got an obligation. He joined them from Nice in the summer. Maybe a throw in here for Crystal Palace, but the referee has stopped it because there's an injury to Matisse Tell, I think it is, who's gone down inside the centre circle. Gosh, he's had rotten luck with injuries.
Well, I mean, he got trod on. I wouldn't exactly call it injury. He puts his foot in and Wharton steps on the end of his big toe, I think. It does hurt in the boots today, not quite made how they once were, but still, I mean, you're in a relegation fight.
Glenn Murray, 5 years at Crystal Palace, 125 league games, I think it was, and 47 goals. Never shirked to challenge, gave as good as he got. Strong player up front, nothing would put him off, and yet he's bearing a scar today, and picked up, must have been a rugby union game, a football game, or a paddle.
Yes,
that's a fierce game.
Do you know what, when you said that, I thought you said he was wearing a scarf. Not a scarf. I did get, yes, I hit myself in the head with a paddle racket. There we go. The cat's out of the bag.
But you didn't complain, got up, carried on going.
Well, no, I went to hospital and got it glued.
It's a throw to Tottenham on the right-hand side. I'd say...
Wow, 4 minutes in, you couldn't wait to get that one out, could you, JP?
No. Absolutely, mate. It's going to be a throw to Tottenham. That's about 10 yards from the dead ball line, far side from me. That's just in front of the Palace fans. They've come here in great numbers. Superb support from Crystal Palace over the years, not just as a cup-winning side or a Community Shield winning side. In comes that throw towards the near post, headed away defensively to the edge of the penalty area and poked wide from just inside the box. I think it was Papisar who got the shot away, sort of spun it wide.
Tell you what, that's a good throw-in, isn't it? He's dropped that right in the front post of Crystal Palace, and there's no one near Strand Larsen. Like you say, once he heads it away, it falls to Sarr, who stabs the effort goalwards, whistles wide of the post.
Strand Larsen pulled from behind by Kevin Danso.
He started really well. Strand Larsen, couple of long balls up to his feet. He's held it up really well. Nice touch. Obviously, just mentioned that clearance from him. Started brightly, the Crystal Palace man.
Something about him when you meet him, he's very likeable, but there's just something about him. He's got plenty of time left. He's in his mid-20s, 26 I believe. His on the right hand side for Crystal Palace is Myles Sarr. Turns it back to Chris Richards with his bushy hair out to the left hand side of defence to Chadi Riyad, who had a bad injury when he first came to the club. He joined in June of 2024. This is only his 8th game, I think.
And there's a lack of intensity from Spurs. They don't really want to press Crystal Palace, do they? They just sat in what effectively you would call a mid-block, allowing the Crystal Palace defenders to have it.
They're 6 points down on where they were at this stage last season, Spurs, and in Igor Tudor's defence, this isn't a new problem for Spurs. They picked up 43 points from a possible 156. It's a foul right down below us. It was a clumsy challenge by Sosa. He's going to get a yellow card for it as he brought down the flying Daniel Munoz right on the touchline. Free kick to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, Munoz at 1-2 with Gasson, like he always does, flies down that line, just gets there a fraction before Sosa takes everything, and that is a well-earned yellow card.
7 minutes gone at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on 5 Live from the BBC. Coverage of the FA Cup 5th round begins tomorrow night. Right here, Wolves against Liverpool, build up from 7 o'clock, just days after Wolverhampton Wanderers beat them very late on in the league, 2-1.
I'm just looking down there now. Munoz hasn't got up. I think he might have hurt his right shoulder when he's landed there, and that will be a real blow for Crystal Palace, especially with the Spurs left wing back now on a yellow card, and seeing Nathaniel Klein warming up doesn't quite fit that profile of Daniel Munoz. Not going to get forward a lot and help the attacking trio of Crystal Palace. Just watching it again, it's a nasty fall, isn't it?
Yeah, he's certainly hurt that right shoulder. The physio is with him now. Whether or not he's just badly bruised it, tweaked it, I don't think he's popped it out.
No, I think he's done.
Do you? Well, concern on the face of Oliver Glasner with his big black sort of puffer jacket and coat down below us, talking to his coaching staff. Brimmeyer, the former Austrian international striker, Paddy McCarthy, 8 years as a Palace player, down there as well.
I'm surprised we've got Sosa and Klein warming up below us here. Does Brennan Johnson not fit that profile better?
Struggled, hasn't he, since joining from Tottenham, Brennan Johnson.
Looks like that CT joint of Munoz.
It's going to be a free kick to Crystal Palace. It's a yard in from the near right-hand touchline, 0-0. 9 minutes gone. Goalless Tottenham, Crystal Palace. And in it comes from Wharton. Clipped on inside the penalty area. Sarr got a touch, and it's just pushed out of play for a Crystal Palace throw-in. They look the more confident side, Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs packed the box, didn't they? they had 10 players inside their own 6-yard box, allowing a couple of players on the edge that they could have just played the ball to. Crystal Palace opted to put it in. Asked the question. Looks like Munoz is going to come back on.
Charlie Rio comes to the near side of the 6-yard area with a long throw by Chris Richards. It's beyond Riyadh and headed away. Comes back out to a red and blue shirt though on 5 live. Nearly 10 minutes gone goalless. Here's Tyrick Mitchell all the way back to his goalkeeper. A little bit of late pressure on it from Pedro Porro.
Well, it's Porro that's run right across his back four, out down this left-hand side, all the way up to Henderson, and then now he's retreating back to that right centre-back slot. And it got a little bit of a warm applause from the fans, a little bit of desire.
He's definitely a trier. He's Pedro Porro. He's built for a wing-back system, really, isn't he? He's a better right wing-back than he is a right-back. He's playing right-side centre-back 3 tonight. In the same way that Udogie is a better left wing-back than he is an orthodox left full-back.
I'm just looking at Munoz. He's holding the arm. He's not running properly. See him? He's holding it like a broken wing.
Reminds me of Franz Beckenbauer all those years ago when he played on with his arm in a sling. Made him tough in those days. It's going to be a throw-in for Crystal Palace. It'll be a long one. Chris Richards will take it. It's 10 yards from the dead ball on its right-hand side. It's 0-0. Wharton comes close with his orange boot, short-sleeved shirt. One of the Palace players wearing short sleeves. Strand Larsen's in the 6-yard area mix, and it comes looking for Strand Larsen, partially keyed away. There's Munoz, he's hurt his shoulder in trying to get the shot away, and he signalled to the referee can't go on. Richards has kept the ball in play, pulls it to the far side of the box. Kamada brings it down here then for Crystal Palace, draws a low cross in, the goalkeeper saves, and down will go Daniel Munoz, and his day is indeed done. The referee has stopped play.
Is that right?
Well, we're seeing this more and more in the game, and I know it gets supporters frustrated. Head injury, yes, but another injury, and I know he's hurt, but the game's been stopped here for what isn't a head injury.
Yeah, his evening's done, without doubt. There's no question of that, but just sitting down, I don't think the referee should really stop the game in that instance. Spurs wanted to play on, they wanted to use that momentum. Referee thought otherwise, pulled them up, and it looks like Munoz is done holding the arm. He did get a shot off, didn't he, on the edge of the box there, but he just didn't, his balance wasn't quite right, and now his arm's in a makeshift sling.
Using his Crystal Palace shirt as a makeshift sling as he comes off. Hurt by the foul by Sosa that brought the 19-year-old Brazilian a yellow card. And a worry for Crystal Palace is not only is his day done here, will he be fit to play AEK Larnaca on Thursday. There was just a suspicion there when he got a shot away, it hit a Tottenham player on the arm. It hit Pabsar, it wasn't a handball.
Yeah, this is a big blow for Crystal Palace. Igor Tudor walks out because Daniel Munoz has meandered off the field, only just got off there now. Igor Tudor comes out, arms are stretched, asking the referee what's going on, why did you stop it, why is he walking off so slowly?
Well, this will change if the new laws are brought in time for the World Cup or in time for domestic football around the globe next season. We'll have 10 seconds to get off the field of play, and if he doesn't, then the oncoming player will have to wait a minute before he can come on. I'll raise a question for you. What if the player going off can't get off in 10 seconds because he's injured? It takes him longer than that.
Oh, I was going to ask that question to you, JP, but you've answered it, thank you.
It's a bit of a strange one, that, isn't it? It's going to be a corner kick for Tottenham on the right-hand side. I'm sure these changes to the laws are well-meaning, but are they clearly thought through? On comes Clyde. Such an experienced Crystal Palace player, of course. And he replaces Daniel Munoz for his 249th game in his 2 spells. It'll be a corner kick, meanwhile, for Tottenham on the right-hand side, 0-0. Approaching 14 minutes.
Sar's just been allowed to walk out there and play a 1-2.
Shota with the cross into the middle. Mourinho was in there. It's half-headed away. The cross was aimed at Dominic Solanke, who couldn't get off the ground high enough. Now here's Matisse Tel. Oh, he's dangerous here for Tottenham. He's into the penalty area, shoots. Henderson very nearly spilt it. And that's the best we've seen from Tottenham. And that gets a great response from the crowd.
Yeah, it does really bright from Tell. He thought, you know what, I'm going to ask questions of the new boy. It goes right at Nathaniel Klein, direct at him, cuts inside just on the edge of the 18-yard box, fires a shot low and hard towards Henderson's net. Henderson gets it at the second attempt.
He's featured in a lot of league games as Matisse Tell, but he's only having his 7th league start, first for quite a while. Player who joined initially on loan and then for 30 million from Bayern Munich in the summer. Tottenham have spent a lot of money, £175 million in the last 2 windows. That's a foul. Oh no, the referee said Van der Ven's challenge. No, he's brought it back. For a minute I thought he was saying you could go on, but he seemed to bundle into Ismail Assar. It's a free kick here for Palace, just inside their own half-nil net.
Yeah, seemed to take a beat on that, didn't he? Andrew Madley put the whistle to his lips as Van der Ven barges into Ismail Assar. 100% a foul. Takes it away, thinks twice, and then gives the free kick.
I think it's Saturday. We've got back-to-back commentaries of the Six Nations for you. 2 o'clock Scotland against France, and then from 4:40 we have commentary of Italy against England. Porro leaves it for his goalkeeper Vicario, who comes into his 6-yard area and balloon kicks it away, but Porro actually nearly got in his way and is now acknowledging that fact to his goalkeeper. Here's Sosa.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the makeup of Crystal Palace, and obviously you've got Jorgensen Larsen through the middle, Gesson on the left and Sarr on the right. Sarr's directly up against Mickey Van der Ven. I would have thought they might have played a little bit of cat and mouse and played Sarr on the left, just because Mickey Van der Ven is one of the very few people in the Premier League who's got as much pace as the Crystal Palace man.
A free kick to Palace. They're halfway inside the Spurs half. It's about 5 yards in from the far side. The old shelf stand as it was in this much changed, dramatically changed ground with a massive yawning south stand away to our right hand side, the old Park Lane end of the ground. And Wharton will take it. Our commentary position is high up in what used to be the main stand on the west side of the ground, just by the high road. Wharton will take this free kick, right arm raised, orange boots, socks rolled down. In comes the free kick headed away by Archie Gray. Klein sort of mishits his attempted volley, then hoiks it back over his shoulder into the penalty area, and it's brought under control and should be cleared by Randall Kolo Muani. With him though is Jorgen Strand Larsen. Good pressure by him, and he's pushed to the ground, and it'll be a free kick to Crystal Palace. Well, you were a free scoring centre forward, your own right, Glenn. Must be impressed, as you said earlier, the way he started the game.
Yeah, he's been good so far. Once he was aware that he was a back man, he made this long busting run out to the side to stop Kolo Muani, and eventually managed to wrestle the ball off him and then buys a free kick off him. And this is another chance for Crystal Palace, and these are mounting up now to put the ball into this 18-yard box and ask a question of the Spurs defence.
In the 18th minute, Kamada with the free kick for Crystal Palace. Whips it right-footed, and it's headed up and over his own bar. Archie Gray got something on it. It's another corner kick. It's a corner kick here for Crystal Palace. I think it's the first corner of the game. Yeah,
he did. Archie Gray just on that front post there managed to be the first man that met that football as it came into the 18-yard box. Puts out for a corner. Kamada is the man going to be taking it.
On that far side, Japanese international, experienced at that. He's featured in their last 6 games. Daichi Kamada, former Napoli player, won the cup there, won the Europa League with Eintracht. He was manager from those days. In comes the corner kick. Richards is first to get to it, and as he turned, he's dispossessed by Van der Ven and then dumps into the ground. The Tottenham fans cheer because the referee is blown in their way.
Yeah, there was a lack of awareness, wasn't there? He turns to his left-hand side, goes to take the football. Mickey Van der Ven ghosts in, and all he does is take Mickey Van der Ven's shins from underneath him.
In came the corner kick. It was flicked on at the near post, hit Archie round the bottom of the elbow, but can't give penalties for things like that, surely. What do you think?
I don't think he should, but I've seen them given. No, not in today's game, I don't think. Arm close enough proximity to his body.
Latest in Rugby League's Super League. Wakefield 4, Hull 6. FA Cup up and coming on 5 Live this weekend. And of course the big one is coming. All the games live in the summer from the United States of America, Mexico and Canada, the 3 host nations. Will they be? Well, we'll wait and see. Out wide to Porro on the right hand side. Tottenham have possession. Wonder if he'll ever win a FIFA Peace Prize, Pedro Porro. It's Tottenham in possession.
Bit of frustration there from the Spurs fan as Porro just paused on the ball for a second. Plenty of arms waving, voices shouting, get forward.
Long bent ball into the heart of the Palace defence when Richards got it away. Kamada's touch to Wharton, but then it's misplaced as he angled the ball out to the right hand side. Porro rushed onto it and stabbed it out of play. They are rushing a little bit, Tottenham, at the moment. Need to relax a little bit perhaps, but that is a mark of their brittle confidence, I would say.
Yeah, mark of their situation.
I remember the last time they went down 76-77 into the old Division 2. Keith Birkinshaw brought them straight back up, and within 4 years they'd won the Cup twice and the UEFA Cup. Ricky Villa had come in, Ozzy Ardiles had come in, Glenn Hodder was here. Relegation needn't be terminal, but it'll be a huge blow for this club and this stadium. Massive. They'll lose millions. Van der Ven. There's a very good article on the website, by the way, BBC website, about what relegation will cost. Van der Ven is just nudged to the ground as he made that run through the inside left position, bowled over by Strand Larsen, who gets a yellow card.
Yeah, recovering, typical centre forwards challenge. Fortunately just hasn't quite got the pace to stay with Mickey Van der Ven. Just nudges him in the back. Mickey Van der Ven goes over as he's approaching Crystal Palace's defensive territory.
Jim Madley has brought out 2 cards so far. We're nearing the halfway mark on 5 Live, goalless. Here's a free kick for Spurs though. What can they do here now? Sosa stands on the ball. Tell is there with him, he just nudges it to Matisse Tell. Back out wide to Sosa, bends the cross in, it's promising. It's headed away back inside his own penalty area though by Strand Larsen, and now Tottenham will look to build on their right hand side. Porro to Sarr. Perhaps Sarr back in the starting lineup, drops the ball at the feet of Sosa, this 19-year-old. And 36 minutes against Manchester United, 11 minutes against Fulham, gets his start tonight. And now Paulinho's not been in the game, angles the ball low and flat into the penalty area, partially cleared by Richards. And in the end, Adam Wharton sweeps his left foot at it and hoists it up into the sky, back into the centre circle. Tottenham have possession.
Yeah, 22 minutes in, this is Spurs' best spell of possession. Starting to ask questions of Crystal Palace. Good sustained possession, pinning Crystal Palace in.
Danso for Tottenham Hotspur, centre circle. Out to Sosa on the left hand side, 2 Palace players on him, and it's cleared away by Mitchell infield. Kamada is fouled. It's a free kick, and the Tottenham players aren't happy about this, Glenn.
Yeah, no, because Kamada turned blindly, which is well within his right to do with his left hand shoulder, and he turned into Andrew Madley where he just had to take a beat. That allowed the Tottenham player to just get in. I think it was Paulinho, and obviously Andrew Madley blows up, and there's sighs all around the stadium, more frustration.
Well done, Glenn, brilliantly filled, because I was coughing and spluttering in the background there. Apologies everybody, but there is one good thing about this. At this time of the year I always get a bad cold, and have done all the years I've been commentating, and it presages the oncoming of spring and fine weather. Always does. Change of the weather and I go down with a cold and sniffles.
There we go, you heard it here first. It's not the sunshine that's come out, it's JP's cold.
Hang your seaweed outside your back door. If it's wet, rain's coming. Oh, I know them all. I know them all. Check me for the weather. Here's Tottenham in possession. 5 Live from the BBC. 24 minutes gone. Back to Danso. He's been steady when he's been in the side. Had a toe injury from January through to early March. What have you seen there, Glenn?
There was a little ripple of applause, and I think it's because the substitutes have gone out to warm up, and it was a little show of appreciation for Brennan Johnson, I think.
Oh, which is nice. That's a yellow card for Papsar.
Yeah, he was waving the imaginary one there. Andy Madley's just said, you can't do that. Explain the situation to Van der Ven. Van der Ven just looked at him.
Well, there's no consistency with that, really. C1 referee's just done it there. That's what they're instructed to do. And then tomorrow and over the weekend in the Cup and all around the EFL, you won't see referees do it. I think that's what players they want more than anything else, consistency. Here's Matisse Tell round the corner from Sarr. Porro tries to launch left, it deflects high off Kamada back to the edge of the Palace penalty area, where Wharton just delays to clear it away, but the flag's raised on the far side anyway, and it's offside and a free kick for Crystal Palace. It's got very, very scrappy, Glenn.
Yeah, it has all of a sudden. Indeed, no team can really get a foothold in the game. Just looking at the Spurs, well, spectators, Kulusevski,
Bergval's there. He's going to be a player. Currently sidelined.
So many people out for Spurs. It is unfortunate, but I suppose you've got to ask questions. Why so many players at this club are injured?
Here's Klein. Looks for the forward run of Strand Larsen. He's a willing runner through the channels. But Van der Ven, so quick across the turf, gets there.
Oh, he is. He's a Rolls Royce, isn't he, Van der Ven? He's so good at that sweeping round. When you think you've got away from him, reels you in with his pace.
Spurs on the attack, 0-0, 26 minutes gone. Put it back to the halfway line. João Paulinho is there. Sixth start in a run of 7 Tottenham games on loan from Bayern. Here's Van der Ven. He was used in the defence, wasn't he? And Arsenal was Paulinho. Didn't seem to be happy there. Strand Larsen holds it up for Palace. Back to Wharton, who's misplaced a pass forward to Evan Kessel, and it's a free kick here for Tottenham, who are just now beginning to get on top, and the crowd has responded again. They just want a glimmer, they want something to smile about, they want a win here. They've got a free kick. This time it's Adam Wharton protesting. Challenge on Tell.
Yeah, I must say, I thought Adam Wharton won the ball there, put his body between ball and man, and I fully expected Andrew Madley to blow the other way. He doesn't. He says it's a foul by the Crystal Palace man.
If Tottenham score from here, Crystal Palace will fume. And I think their manager is making a point to the fourth official down there, Ruben Ricardo, that it should have been a free kick the other way. But anyway, it's Porro on it for Spurs. He's around about 15 yards inside the Palace half, slightly left of centre. He'll take this right-footed then. The squat Spaniard from Don Benito, signed from Sporting, floats the free kick across the penalty area to the far side. Danso has misjudged it, couldn't win the ball, and now it's Ismaila Sarr will try and get away for Crystal Palace, or rather it was Mitchell. He's caught in possession, and now Gray bends a forward-looking pass between the Palace defenders, and Richards cleared it away, and it's a free kick now for a challenge on Chadi Riyad. Free kick to Crystal Palace. 0-0.
Yeah, it's one of those striker challenges again, wasn't it? Chadi Riyad's going to clear it. Kolo Muani goes clattering in. Well, I shouldn't say clattering. Contacting into the back of him. Palace man goes down. Referee blows obligingly.
Goalless. Crystal Palace probably need another point, maybe 3. They've got 35, 4 points clear of Leeds, who are on 31. Tottenham have 29, Forest and West Ham have 28. It's certainly a lot tighter than people thought it would be.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm just looking at the change that Crystal Palace made, and what it has done, it's taken something out of their armoury. because Munoz is the one that really likes to get forward for Crystal Palace, and no longer is Nathaniel Klein doing that.
Guessant looks for Sarr. He's in the penalty area here. Ismaila Sarr. It loops off of the defender and into the back of the net. Tottenham looked to a flag that didn't come, and Crystal Palace lead from a classic counter after 29 minutes. We'll have to wait for it to be confirmed, because VAR will have a say, I'm sure. But Craig Taylor's flag stayed down, and Palace took advantage of it. 1-0 to the visitors.
Well, it's a strange reaction, wasn't it? Because all the Spurs players just stop and look towards the referee, and Ismaila Sarr, who's away in the corner celebrating, confused almost. But this is Crystal Palace at their best, breaking with pace and intensity into their centre forward, who holds it up, plays it round the corner to Guessant, who plays a straight ball. This is going to be really, really tight. I'm looking at it with the cut of the grass. But it's Ismaila Sarr that gets away, takes it down the left-hand side, hits a shot back across with his left foot, takes a big deflection off Porro, which loops it up and over the goalkeeper into the far corner, nestling into that bottom corner, bounces into the top of the goal. The question is, did he stray offside?
Well, I thought when the ball was initially played up to him, he was in an offside position. Then when it went out wide, when it came back into him, it was very tight. But he's been really deserving of goals for Crystal Palace. That's his 12th of the season. Been in terrific form since he came back from AFCON.
Well, I felt that he would have a big say on this evening's game, especially, like I said, with having Spurs having to step on, and that's the first time we've seen Crystal Palace counter-attack like their manager wants to, like Oliver Glasner has set them up. But this is turning into an agonising wait here.
And the VAR has a very big decision to make.
I think his knee might just have strayed off.
Nick Copton.
Mickey van der Ven almost stops, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because he thinks he's off.
Well, they've just frozen the screen we're seeing here, the VAR. I can't hear what the VAR is saying. We can when we're doing TV commentaries, but not with the radio.
I mean, it's Guessant's right foot and Ismaila Sarr's right knee. Ismaila Sarr's obviously leaning because he's running. This is going to be awfully tight, this. And the weight goes on.
Agonising for Spurs fans.
It is agonising for Spurs fans. And Andrew Madley is about to address us.
We're seeing replays in the ground. Not too sure you'll be able to hear him. It's offside. He made the gesture of the screen. He was clearly talking to the VAR, and now we're seeing in the ground a replay that Ismaila Sarr was offside when the ball was played into it. It was the last ball.
It was his forehead, and it was a matter of centimetres. It's a warning sign. This is the loudest the stadium's been all evening. They need a reaction from their players now. They've got away with one.
Well, you can score with your forehead, and it's deemed that his forehead was in an offside position. His forehead was in an offside position. What are we coming to? And the Crystal Palace joy sucked out, and so much joy is being sucked out of the game. Here's Van der Ven. And Tottenham, can they come back into it? Here's Sosa. Left-hand touchline, rolls back to Palhinha. Will that galvanise Tottenham now? Danso, centre circle, 0-0. Tottenham won just one of their last 13 home games in the Premier League, lost 8 of those. Beat Brentford 2-0 in December. In their entire league history, it's only the second time they've had just one win in a run of 13 plus games. Here's Telford, edge of the penalty, a shoots, big deflection, carries it out wide for a corner ball.
He's the one, isn't he? He's the bright spark for Tottenham. Gets on that right foot again, sends it goalwards, deflected in the middle of the area for a corner, and as he goes out to take that corner, waves his arms. He wants more noise around the ground.
Short corner by Spurs, back to Tell, better angle, Hoiks to the far side, Gray stretched, couldn't head it back across the penalty. Wharton is tucked up behind him. Richards comes in from the other side. Gray's gone beyond both of them into the dead ball line. Did he run it out? It's into the middle. It's tucked in by Dominic Solanke. Now the big question here, was the ball out of play? Spurs fans don't care. Moments ago they thought they conceded. Now the big scoreboards in each four corners of the ground shows Tottenham 1, Crystal Palace 0 on 5 Live.
Well, Archie Gray does it ever so well, doesn't he? He's got his back to goal. He manages to get turned and dance along the byline, keeping the ball in. And he puts a low, hard ball into the heart of the 6-yard box. And it's Dominic Solanke, the number 9, who duly obliges, gets a toe end onto it, spins up off that toe end into the roof of the net.
Did Gray run it out?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That ball is still in play. Do you know, it's a really good finish because he lets that ball come across him. Solanke uses all the pace on it, opens his left foot up and smashes into the roof of the net and sends this place absolutely wild.
Igor Tudor spins and punches the air. Well, that could be massive for Tottenham. Dominic Solanke's 5th of the campaign. A campaign ruined by the ankle injury that kept him out until mid-January. What an important goal that could be for Spurs.
Well, how a game can change in a matter of moments. You think you're one down, and I did say, what's the reaction going to be like? That's the loudest the crowd have been. There's your reaction, to go 1-0 up. All of a sudden, there's noise in the stadium.
Has a protruding forehead turned Spurs season around?
What I will say, when you look at that goal from Crystal Palace point of view, it's really poor defending. Adam Wharton's really tight to him, can't get away.
Palace now getting away down the right hand side. Sarr carrying the game to Tottenham, bends the cross in, hoisted away by Danso. Back out to Sarr. Tottenham leading 1-0, 10 to go in the first half. Crystal Palace's Riyad, Chadi Riyad has it. Halfway inside the Tottenham half, returns it to the right, prodded down the line then for Palace to Nathaniel Clyne. In comes across from JD Canvo into the box. Danso climbs, headed away, thinks he was fouled by Strand Larsen. Go on, says the referee. Crystal Palace have had a lot of the ball in possession here. Daichi Kamada. Back to Chris Richards. He was also beaten by the spin of Archie Gray for that goal. 2 Crystal Palace players put out of the game.
Yeah, what I was going to go on to say is Wharton's in full control of the situation. Archie Gray's looking towards the stand on the far side, and Richard tried to rob the ball over his right shoulder, but he turns over his left. No one there, dances into the 18-yard box and supplies his number 9 with a little bit of creation.
Gets on forward for Crystal Palace. The Strand Larsen tries a little flick off to Sarr. He's in the penalty area, goes down, claims he was being pulled back by Van der Ven. He's given a penalty.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. There's a
Van der Ven's been sent off. Well. 3 minutes ago, Tottenham joy. They led 1-0. Now, the referee has given a penalty for Van der Ven, denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity, pulling Sarr back. He's immediately red-carded, and Igor Tudor, grim face, shakes his head down in the dugout.
Well, he's right, because it would be the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, but was it a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity? I'm just getting another look. Strand Larsen heads it on. Sarr's on the wrong side, and it's momentary, it's fleeting, but Van der Ven, without doubt, gets Ismaila Sarr in an arm lock and just yanks it down for a glancing second, but that's enough to stop the Crystal Palace player meeting that ball before Vicario. And I actually think, on second glance, I think the referee's got that one right, JP.
It was the sort of the motion that pulled Sarr's arm down to the ground that counted.
I thought, when I first saw it in real time, I thought Ismaila Sarr was trying to buy a penalty, but that, I have to say, looks like very good refereeing once you get a replay. To see that in real time, to know how much that pull meant. He has got a big chunk of his arm's behind him as he's trying to run forward. And he sees red Mickey Van der Ven, and Ismaila Sarr's the man that's going to take this penalty. He stood coolly, he stood calmly, he's put the ball in the back of the net once already via a deflection. This is a huge moment. If they can draw level here, Spurs on 10 men, this stadium could turn.
Scored a penalty already this season. Massive moment here for Crystal Palace, for Tottenham and for the entire Premier League. 5 Live at the Tottenham Stadium, 39 minutes gone. Spurs leading 1-0, penalty to Crystal Palace. Sarr stands 4 yards behind the ball. Left foot slightly in front of the right. Starts his run up here. Ambles into it and puts the goalkeeper the wrong way very, very coolly. And it's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Yeah, it's a very cool penalty, isn't it? Really slow walk up, couple of little trots, waits for the goalkeeper to go to the left. He puts it to the goalkeeper's right into the empty side of the net. When the pressure's on, that's the man you want taking your penalties. A wonderful spot kick by Ismail Assar. And all of a sudden, now, this place, 39th minute, I'm watching, people are heading for their exit. Are they heading for the exits? Because it's almost, well, it's 5 minutes to half time, or are they just heading for the exits?
Well, they might be going out to get a cup of tea. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It's 1-1. There's someone being escorted out of the stadium by 2 amber-clad security officers down below.
Conor Gallagher's going to enter the field of play. Yves Bissouma's going to enter the field of play. 2 substitutions.
Tottenham down to 10 men for the last 50 minutes of the game. 1-1, launched long by Danso, looking for Tell. I like the blue touch paper and stand back, because this could get very interesting now. Here's Tell for Tottenham. Had a really bright game down their left-hand side. He's been well marked though, 3 Palace players around him, so he draws the ball back to Papsar. And on to Danso, centre circle, wide to Porro, who at the moment is on the right-hand side, orthodox right side, but we'll wait and see. He's still got Archie Gray on that far side ahead of him. It's Danso, overran it really, he prodded it too far for Paulinho, who's dropped into defence, and back it goes from Porro to the goalkeeper. High to the head of Richards, who doesn't seem to be wearing that protective plaster that he had on after cutting himself a couple of games ago. Now Strand Larsen to Kamada, looks for Sarr again, goal side, Spurs hesitant defensively, couldn't keep it in play.
The pass was on, JP, the pass was on. He went to the left hand side, he went to get on Strand Larsen, but he could have just slid it through to Ismail Assar earlier on. Always living on that shoulder, isn't he, the Crystal Palace man? Always given that option to go beyond. It's a nightmare for defenders when you've got somebody willing to run beyond and break that offside line. And here come the changes.
Well, Sosa goes off, Conor Gallagher comes on, Conan Moani goes off, and Bissouma comes on to cope with the red card of a single player. Should you be making 2 substitutions? And should you be making 2 substitutions with 3 minutes to go in the first half before getting into the dressing room and trying to sort things out?
Well, there's no handbook. He does what he wants. He's the manager of the football club. Would I? I'm not sure. I'd have to give it a little bit more thought. I'd probably give myself half time to make that decision.
Well. Now the game can spin. Full-blooded London derby.
Vicario's just taken a goal kick and he put it on his own centre-half's head. Paulinho had to win that header to flick it on. He was the closest place to Vicario there.
Paulinho's now gone inside alongside Danso, with Porro still the right-hand side centre-back of the 3. Tell is playing left wing-back now for Spurs, and he looks so impressive higher up the pitch. So we'll wait and see if these tactical changes pay off.
So is that a 5-3-1 I'm seeing there, with Sarr, Conor Gallagher and Bissouma in the 3?
Yeah. And Solanke up front being asked to do a lot of running here on his own. Klein has it for Crystal Palace. Buoyed by the equaliser, of course, as they would be. Palace look for Sarr. Headed away by Danso on the edge of his own penalty area. Now here's Gesson, strokes the pass to Kamada, around the corner to Sarr, charge down the clearance and inadvertently handled the ball. Free kick to Tottenham, just on the edge of their own penalty area.
Yeah, it just takes that pressure off them. Crystal Palace looking extremely comfortable on the edge of the 18-yard box. They're just stroking balls around. It's about patience for them. It's about patience for Oliver Glasner's men, picking that right pass at that right moment. Vicario with this free kick, beaten for the 54th time tonight in his 38 games, 10 clean sheets in 32. He's been ever present in Europe, and they've been decent in Europe, and they go to Atleti in the week. Atletico Madrid, you'd have known them as for 850 million years, but apparently these days we have to call them Atleti. That's a foul. It was Paulinho carries on into the Palace man. It's a free kick taken quickly by Wharton. Referee says it's too quick. I think he just wanted to check on Ismaila Sarr to see he was okay. He was the player who was fouled. And again, Igor Tudor prowls on this touchline with a heavy blue coat. Looks like a Crombie coat, if you remember them. 8 minutes of stoppage time. Maybe it was a good thing he made that substitution quickly.
Here's Wharton, yeah, spot on. Pass out wide to this near touchline, just cut in for Crystal Palace. On the near touchline, Jenny Convoy was. He now strokes the ball back to Richards. There's a commanding feeling about Crystal Palace again, with Tottenham shocked at going down to 10. And it's a free kick for a foul on Gesson.
Porro just pressing a little bit too quickly there.
Wharton for Palace tries to stroke the ball to Strand Larsen on the edge of the penalty area. Well played by Tell, gets it away to Gallagher. Tell, it's a dangerous pass, square across the line of his back four, picked up by Palace. Wharton to the box, Strand Larsen, that makes the goalkeeper. Crystal Palace are 2-1 up at Tottenham Hotspur. A minute into stoppage time, and Spurs have shot themselves in the foot there.
Well, they win the ball high up. Finds its way to Adam Wharton, who walks into the 18-yard box, protecting that ball on his left-hand side, plays a little ball just in front of him, down the side of the Spurs defender. Strand Larsen's lively, manages to swivel, get a shot away. I think he goes through Vicario's legs and into the back of the net, and despair rings round this stadium. The only people I can hear are the fans in the corner, and they're the Crystal Palace fans, and they are in full voice.
Given away by Tell, never pass the ball square across the line of the defence, I was once told, into the penalty area. It went. Very quick thinking by Wharton, the early release, and Strand Larsen nipped across and then tucked it between the legs of Guillermo Vicario. Yeah. Crystal Palace are 2-1 up.
It was good by Gesson to read that ball into Sarr, nicks it off him, and when it gets to Adam Wharton, the weight of the pass in behind the defence is absolutely perfect for Strand Larsen to run onto, and he just toes it towards goal, doesn't really know where it's going, not going in the corner, he's just getting it on target, asking a question of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is not equal to as it rolls into the back of the net.
I know Gesson won't hog the headlines, but I think he's been crafty in this first half. Some of his movement that Tottenham haven't been able to pick up. It's Palace in possession on the edge of their own penalty area. Tottenham fans are now howling for every possible decision they can get. They're 2-1 down, nearly 3 minutes into stoppage time, 8 allowed by the referee and the VAR.
Well, there's 5 minutes left and the stadium is empty.
Lots and lots of empty seats all around us. Whether or not they're leaving or whether or not they're going out for a cup of tea or a pint and a pie, their team are trailing 2-1, and that, I think, sums up the mood around this famous, wonderful old club now in the mire of a relegation battle, and they are really in a relegation battle. If they didn't know they were before today, and goodness me, they should have known, they'll know tonight if it stays like this. Crystal Palace have possession. Young J.D. Canvo. To his left is Wharton, and on it goes from the fair-haired Wharton to Kamada, who's played well for Crystal Palace tonight. Across from the left-hand side by Chadi Riyad. partially cleared. Spurs looked brittle. They had to readjust, bringing those 2 substitutes on, having lost Van der Ven to a red card. And they haven't sorted themselves out yet. Wharton showed a little bit too much of the ball to Solanke, but Solanke wasn't having a challenge.
Yeah, there's a pass on there. Sven Larsson just ran down the side of Paulinho like he did for the goal. If it was a better touch by Wharton, he would have seen it. A little bit lacklustre, just let the Spurs man close him down, but Crystal Palace are camped and keeping the ball very easily without any pressure.
Canberra to Wharton. Richards. Tottenham camped within 18, 24, 30 yards of their own goal to count the alternate light and dark strips of grass, each of them 6 yards broad. Wharton, 5 live from the BBC. Crystal Palace 2-1 up at Tottenham. Wharton back to Richards, angles the ball out wide to this near side. Cross comes in from Klein and it's steamrolled away by Basuma. Another play for a throw in to Crystal Palace on their right. A Tottenham fan behind the goal at that end of the ground leans forward, bespectacled, grey beard, puts his head in his hands. The young Tottenham fan also there in the change strip of blue, looks deeply worried. There's concern etched on the faces of the young and old of this football club, Tottenham Hotspur. Training to Crystal Palace 2-1. Richards will take the throw. And it comes looking for Riyad. It's a firm header away. Porro it was. Back out to the right-hand touchline and they'll settle for another throw-in. Founded in 1882 by members of the Hotspurs Cricket Club led by Bobby Buckle. The first president was a Bible teacher at the All Hallows Church, John Ripshire. You're talking about a football club that has been champions twice, the FA Cup winners 8 times, 1 in Europe, respected around the world and in deep relegation peril. But now they go over the halfway line. Solanke, powerful, just let the ball slip away from him, and Mitchell, calm as you like, under no pressure in the end actually, turns it square and Palace redeem possession with 51 on the clock.
No, well, I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, does Crystal Palace keep the ball with ease? Spurs are just satting, letting them play around them, which I understand, they're down to 10 men. They need a new game plan in half-time, but I'm just wondering how the manager gets them back into this.
Wharton's a lovely ball through to Sarr. Vicario hesitated. Sarr nips in, tucks it beyond the hesitant goalkeeper, who was caught in no man's land. And Crystal Palace are 3-1 up at Tottenham, deep in first half stoppage time. And now they're flooding out the Tottenham fans.
Well, it's a wonderful ball, isn't it? And I said Crystal Palace had to be patient, and they passed it and they moved the ball. They manipulated Spurs, and at the right time they put the right ball into the area. And it's that man again, Ismaila Sarr, always that option beyond. He beats the offside trap and just prods it goalwards, and it rolls agonisingly slowly over the line. It's Adam Wharton again. It's a wonderful pass from the right hand side, opens his body up, he plays it into the middle with his left foot beyond Paulinho. Sarr runs between Paulinho and Porro, gets in between the triangle of the three of them as the goalkeeper comes rushing out, and it's the deftest of touches as he turns it goalward, and it rolls into an empty net as Vicario slides on his knees in the wrong direction, and Crystal Palace have their third goal of the evening before half-time.
Well, if the mood building up to this game in this area of North London was gloomy before the game, it is now despairing, and the boos begin to ring out. But I'll tell you what's more disturbing than that for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. It's not really loud booing, it's almost a feeling of disdainful resignation of what they believe is going to happen to this. And Igor Tudor, the interim manager, stands hands crossed. It's a mission impossible for him.
Well, do you know what, JP? They may get back into this game. Who knows what will happen in the second half. We never know with Premier League football. But what they don't need this to do is get ugly, because that'll only dent their confidence even more. And do you know what? If you are in a relegation battle, without checking the goal difference, the last thing you want to be doing is shipping goals. because with 3 teams in it, it may boil down to that.
You've still got more than 4 minutes to go, first half stoppage time. I first came here in 1971 for a League Cup semi-final. Bristol City played at Spurs. The Spurs Giants, they were. What names they've had at this football club over the years. That is half-time. Sorry, I miscalculated the time on the clock on the far side. The half-time whistle blows and the ghosts of all the Giants must be swirling unhappily, because Tottenham Hotspur here in 25-26 are dismal, forlorn, and 3-1 down to Crystal Palace at half-time. Sarr for them, Solanke equalised. Sarr thought he'd scored after 29 minutes. Goal ruled out. Solanke put Spurs ahead after 34. Then from a penalty kick that saw Van der Ven sent off for denial, Palace were level, and within minutes they were 2-1 up in stoppage time and then 3-1 up. And what a half this is for Crystal Palace, Glenn Murray, and for Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, we were questioning, weren't we, JP, where the fans were going. I can see a shot of the outside of the stadium, and they are going home without any doubt. And to be honest, I can understand why. It's been a poor performance. They got away with one, didn't they? It was a warning shot from Crystal Palace. It was a forehead offside by Ismail Assar. It was the right decision, don't get me wrong, but the warning signs were there, and they reacted. They took the lead. It was huge. All of a sudden there was a bit of positivity around the stadium, and then from that point on it's been all Crystal Palace. Ismail Assar, like you said, once again, Strand Larsen with an underlapping run pokes it goalwards. Ismail Assar again in the 47th minute, and the place is deadly silent.
It is absolutely deathly silent here. They can't blame Daniel Levy, the Spurs fans these days. Non-executive chairman Peter Charrington, what's his football background, they might be asking that. And certainly the CI Vinay Venkatesham has work to do here, because Tottenham need to turn around their fortunes, Ellie, very, very quickly. I've said twice tonight, I remember them going down in 76, 77, and there are real echoes of this, because that was a terrific Tottenham Hotspur Football Club at that stage, and they let things slide. They let things slide, and they paid the penalty, and they were relegated. And here, they're letting things slide.
It's very interesting, Jonathan, what you say about the anger directed towards Daniel Levy, because he, in a way, was the lightning rod for so long, wasn't he, at Tottenham when things were not going well, but now he is not there to blame. And the shots, as you said, of those Tottenham fans in the stadium in absolute despair, and the looks on the faces of, as you say, men who remember the double winning side, remember all of those great cup runs over the years. And Glenn, you mentioned goal difference, and this is worth keeping an eye on, isn't it? Because there's only 1 point currently between them and Nottingham Forest. This is the game in hand. This was their chance to get 3 points, take themselves to a little bit of breathing space. But now it's eating away. So -7 currently for Spurs, -15 for Nottingham Forest. And the closer that gap gets, the more and more worried you've got to feel.
To a certain extent, now I've had a look at it, they have got a little bit of a comfort zone. I mean, it would be a real worry if they shipped 7 goals in the next couple of games and Nottingham Forest got closer to them on that kind of parameter. But yeah, I mean, at this stage of the season, you are clutching at everything you can get, and they need to keep that little gap of goal difference. They may not need it, but just in case.
Yeah, but the point is that we shouldn't be talking about Tottenham needing to worry about goal difference, should we?
Why shouldn't we?
Well, I mean, it's what they say. No team is too big to go down.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're talking about them for a reason. I mean, no football club in this league, it's the elite global league that we witness week in, week out, and no one has got a God-given right to be in it. So we do talk about Spurs. I mean, yeah, you don't expect them to be there, but they are.
Well, what a dramatic 45 minutes. Just a few minutes in it from that point of that disallowed goal for Crystal Palace. Spurs going the other end and scoring through Dominic Solanke, and then Palace storming back to lead 3-1 at half-time, with Spurs down to 10 men as well, with Mickey van der Ven, the captain, red-carded, leading to that penalty from Ismaila Sarr. So much drama to come in the second half. We'll bring it to you here on 5 Live, but it's just coming up to 9 o'clock on this Thursday night. Let's get the news with Stuart Clarkson.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Ellie, thank you. Good evening. The Defence Secretary John Healey has declined to rule out UK aircraft taking part in strikes on Iran. He's been meeting officials in Cyprus following criticism about the UK's response to drone attacks on the island's RAF base. Italy, France, Spain and the Netherlands are spending naval assets to protect their fellow EU member. Mr Healey says the UK must adapt if needed to defend itself and its allies across the Middle East.
We've got more jets here in Cyprus than any other nation. We've got more than 400 air defence specialists in Cyprus on top of what we would normally have. And that's because we want to make sure that we can defend our British personnel, we can defend our British base, we can defend this island of Cyprus, and we're defending also allies across the region.
The US and Israel have stepped up their attacks on cities across Iran on the 6th day of the conflict in the Middle East. Explosions have been heard again in various locations across the capital, Tehran, with some Iranians reporting they feel trapped. Also tonight, the Labour MP Joni Reid has been suspended from the party while an internal investigation takes place. It follows the arrest of her husband and 2 other men on suspicion of spying for China. They've all been released on bail. President Trump has sacked one of the most high-profile members of his cabinet tonight, the Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. She's been under intense scrutiny over the past few months, particularly in connection with the fatal shooting of 2 protesters by federal agents in Minnesota earlier this year. And here, the Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood has announced that from June, asylum seekers who break the law or work illegally will be thrown out of government-funded accommodation and lose their support payments. Some failed asylum seekers will also be offered up to £10,000 each as an incentive to leave the UK.
6 Music.
Devote your mornings to music. Nick Grimshaw. Let 6 Music deliver us from grey skies with the best sounds in the world. And grace us with some incredible artists. Nima is with us this morning.
It is my favourite record of mine.
It's a banger.
As we ascend into the day ahead with music beyond the mainstream. Nick Grimshaw
On BBC
Radio 6 Music. Just say, play 6 Music. This is 5 Live Sports with Eleanor Oldroyd.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
We will be back in North London in 10 minutes or so for the second half of Tottenham Hotspur against Crystal Palace. The visitors currently leading 10-man Tottenham by 3-1 after a dramatic first half. In the meantime, there's a special episode of Euroleagues out now on the Football Daily podcast feed on BBC Sounds. Here's Steve Crossman speaking to the CEO of Shakhtar Donetsk, Sergei Palkin, about the challenges facing the club since the wide-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine just over 4 years ago.
When you stay in a war territory, in a wartime, it's all decisions. Everything should be made very quick. For example, at this moment, we are changing the strategy of our club. For example, at the beginning of season, we appointed a new coach, appointed new head of medical department, new brand manager, new head of communications, new head of legal department. We are rebuilding scouting department at this moment because we understand that in order to compete, we need to change a lot of stuff. We are rebuilding medical department. We created a department relating to strategic initiatives. We are trying to build at this moment performance department. Therefore, all these actions you need to do very quickly. And for example, why we have quite success in transfer activity in our scouting, because we make decisions quite quickly. Because our president, Renat Akhmetov, he is not afraid to invest into young talents, Brazilian talents. Therefore, and these Brazilians coming to us even in this time, because they understand that our club, it's quite big platform for them to be developed, and it's like bridge between our country to European football. And we have a lot of cases like the last one with Kevin, we have Sudakov, we have a lot of Brazilians. I mean, they understand this kind of picture. And even in war times, they come here. Yes, I spend a lot of time to convince them to come here. I connect them with existing Brazilian players to talk, to explain how everything operates here, how we are protecting them, how work our system in respect of shelters, and etc., etc. In any case, they come. It was quite hard to invite first 3 Brazilians during war. But when first three arrive, another one that's easy because you just connect them with newcomers, and they talk and share their experience and explain what's going on here, whether they should come here or not. But in any case, if you are talking about transfer market, it's very important to make decisions very quickly.
Sergei, I noticed that from the office you're sitting in Kyiv, behind you is a framed photograph of the Donbass arena. And I just wonder emotionally what it does to you to have that there, and the importance of having it there. You've been at the club for many, many years. You got your current job in 2004. So you predate the situation just that we're talking about. So what does it sort of do to you to have that there as a reminder?
Can you imagine? More than 10 years ago, it was our life. And now it's our dream, because it's our dream to return back. And at this moment, it's very difficult to do. But all people working in club, including our president, Renat Akhmetov, we all dreaming one day to return back to our city, to our stadium, because really it was amazing stadium. It was one of the best stadiums in Europe. We had the average attendance like up to 50,000 people every game. And now we have 2,000. In respect of all criteria, stadium which located behind of me, it's our dream, where we need to be, where we need to stay. And because of this dream, somehow we are operate at this moment. Somehow we are surviving. Because people and the clubs without dream, it's difficult to manage.
Well, that was the CEO of Shakhtar Donetsk, Sergei Palkin, speaking to Steve Crossman and the EuroLeague's team. You can listen to that interview in full in the EuroLeague's podcast, which is out now on the Football Daily feed. Let us head to Indian Wells because our tennis correspondent Russell Fuller is watching, and the first British player is into the second round, Russ.
It is Sonny Kartel, Ellie, who reached the round of 16 last year into the second round after victory in breezy conditions against the Thai qualifier Lanlana Tararudi. It was hard work. Kartel had to save 8 break points before winning the first set 6-4, and she recovered from a breakdown in the second and has taken that 6-4 as well. Fran Jones will walk onto that very same court shortly. She spent most of the time since the Australian Open recovering from a glute injury. She's up against an American qualifier called Kayla Day. Jacob Fernley plays 2 a little later, and with a lot of interest in when her sister will return to the sport, Venus Williams, who turns 46 in June, plays her first round match against Diane Parry of France.
And any news on Serena Williams' comeback rumours?
No firm intelligence at this stage, but she is now eligible to play again, Ellie, having spent 6 months in the drug testing pool and almost certainly will have had visits from the drug testers at various times in that period. She could enter any tournament she likes. There's a feeling that she'll want to play doubles with Venus, but there's also a strong feeling that, knowing Serena Williams, if she's going to put all this effort in to coming back, she's almost certainly going to want to try and give it a crack in the singles as well. I actually saw her long-term agent yesterday, who was happy to say that she's training hard, and I said, so any chance we'll see her at the Miami Open in a couple of weeks? And she denied it would be that soon. But she would say that, wouldn't she?
Absolutely. Watch this space. Russell, thank you very much indeed. At half-time in tonight's Super League game, it's Wakefield Trinity 10, Hull FC 10. Commentary available on Sports Extra. And in the meantime, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, their futuristic stadium in North London, we've just seen shots of Igor Tudor, the interim manager, sitting there with what I can only describe as a 1,000-yard stare, with his team 3-1 down at half-time and down to 10 men as well. John on the BBC Sport Live text page says Igor Tudor is about to become a pub quiz answer. Get him gone, get them all gone. We're a complete joke, no backbone or guile. Well, The Spurs players have been out there for a while, I think, Jonathan Pearce, haven't they? And they're finally being joined by the Palace players.
That's true. We spoke to a Tottenham fan who's been coming here for 60 years at half-time. He says it's the worst he's ever known it. He wants to see Harry Redknapp brought in straight away because he remembers where Harry turned this club around a few years ago. Spoke to someone who I can't name, but he's very, very close to Tottenham Hotspur behind the scenes. He said to me, the club has been broken for 7 years. And I will just give you some of these names. Cliff Jones, Danny Blanchflower, John White, Dave Mackay, Jimmy Greaves, Alan Mullery, Chivers, Gilzine, Waddle, Hoddle, Villa, Ardiles, Kane, Kinnear, Ledley King, John Pratt, Mike England, Gary Muppet, Steve Perryman. Just off the top of my head, and what they meant to Tottenham Hotspur and the fans here. And this club is in total disarray. 3-1 down to Crystal Palace at half-time. No changes by either manager. And while we're talking about Tottenham woe, we should also talk about Crystal Palace and the way they played here tonight. Thoroughly professional. They've gone about their job and they're doing really well. Here's Gallagher though for Spurs in the lily white and navy, kicking from left to right in the second half, and he's forced a corner kick. Spurs with Vicario in goal today. Doubt he'll be there at the weekend. Porro, Paulini and Danso a back three. Who'd have seen that? Gray and Tell, the wing backs. Who'd have seen that? Basuma, Sarr and Gallagher in midfield. Solanke, a lone figure chasing up front. And it'll be a corner kick here taken by Tell, who can hold his head up for Tottenham Hotspur today. And they'll take this corner kick. They've got 4 at the far side of the penalty area. Solanke trying to shrug off his marker, so too Gray. Free header pushed away by Henderson. And Glenn Murray. Tottenham might have had one right at the start of the second half.
Yeah, it's been a good start in the second half for Tottenham, and it stands up at the back post unmarked with a free header. And he hammers it right down Henderson's throat. It's a relatively easy save because it's directly at the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. Should probably do better, the Spurs centre-back. But positivity in the start of the second half.
That's what they need. They need to believe. That's a dangerously whipped-in corner, but it hasn't touched anyone, or has it? The referee says Dean Henderson got a claw to it at the far post. He was unopposed, he rose, but he needed to make sure, I guess. And let's have a look at the replay. Yes, he's just knuckled it out of play with his knuckles of his right wrist, and out of play for another corner kick. So a strong start to the second half for Tottenham. They needed to respond. They're 3-1 down. I'll run you through the Palace team in just a moment. Matisse Tell will take this corner kick for Spurs. He's looking to see who he should deliver. Right arm raised on 5 live. 2 minutes into the second half. Cross to the far post. Dancer was coming in. Tottenham fans more with hope than expectation, appeal for a penalty for handball not given. Might be checked, doubt it. Here's Tell. Rolls in from the right hand side. Tell, little chip into the penalty area. It's not cleared. Sarr was there. It's come out to Gray. Gray's shot is blocked by Wharton. It's a throw to Tottenham down below us, and the crowd, who have come back into the second half, and there's huge empty sways, I can tell you, are now responding as the referee listens to the VAR about that incident in the penalty area, and he said go on. There was no handball in there against Charlie Reard, I think they were looking for, but anyway.
Yeah, it does come off his arm, but he has no idea about it, does he? Never been a penalty. Just a slight pause by the referee.
Crystal Palace under a little bit of pressure as Tottenham slided up inside right channel looking for Solanke. He backheels it on to Chris Richards as a throw to Spurs. Palace with Henderson in goal, Klein, Cambo, Richards, Chaddy Reard and Turret Mitchell, their back 5. Klein on very early on to replace Daniel Munoz, who went off with what looked like a shoulder injury. Wharton and Kamada hard in midfield. Sarr and Gesson supporting Strand Larsen. And it's going to be a long throw in for Tottenham to be taken by Kevin Dancer. His long throw is taking so much time these days, and that's easily collected by Henderson, unopposed. He'll drop, he'll look to clear it away, and he'll now take his time, I guess.
Well, it's all been Spurs so far in this second half. This is the first couple of touches Crystal Palace have had.
They've won 2 of their last 3 against Tottenham. Tottenham have won 16 of their last 21 in the Premier League against Crystal Palace. Historically, it's been a good fixture for them. And all of a sudden, as Wharton is pounced upon there by Basuma, it's as if Tottenham have come out with new heart in this second half. And as the days go on, home match against Nottingham Forest on the 22nd of March looks all important. Solanke physical with Richards, needs to be. Pushing on Sarr puts Klein under a little bit of pressure. They are a little bit more physical at the start of the second half.
Yeah, they've got a little bit of a spring in their step, Spurs have in this second half. Putting the ball up to Solanke, getting bodies around him as much as they can. It's a fast pace for 10 men to keep up for a full second half, but they need to find a way to get back into this game.
A win for Palace would take them to 38 points, way beyond what has been the average safety mark in recent seasons. Though I think it was a Carling Opta, Opta I should say, supercomputer at the start of the season that said 36 would be the mark this season, which is higher than normal as well. So we'll wait and see. Here's Klein, halfway inside the Spurs half. Tottenham down to 10, don't forget. Wharton into the middle. Sarr inside the penalty area, was dispossessed, but Danso has run it out of play, behind his dead ball line. It's a corner kick right in front of the Palace fans who loved every minute of that.
Yeah, and it's a smaller side. It's all too easy for Crystal Palace. Once it's played into Adam Wharton, plays it out wide to Jorgensen Larsson, a straight ball into the 18-yard box to find Ismaila Sarr, just playing through and cutting through Spurs with ease at times. Crystal Palace ending in this corner kick.
Wharton will take the corner kick then for Crystal Palace, arms raised above his head. Gesson's in the 6-yard area, so too is Ismaila Sarr, so too JD Camvo, headed away at the near post by Bissouma, and Mitchell is the last man back for Crystal Palace. Thought about playing it out wide to the right. Wharton is very frustrated that he chose instead to go back to Dean Henderson. Palace leads 3-1, 6 minutes now gone in the second half.
Well, I was watching the screen at half-time, JP, and funnily enough, 3 members of the Great Britain Olympic curling team who won silver were interviewed. And I think it's safe to say Spurs are on thin ice.
Lovely. This is Gesson turning into a little bit of trouble. Let's look around the stadium, Glenn. This empty seats, top tier of the north stand, and on the far side, the east stand, that's where they're most evident.
Well, do you know what? I was just going to give it a beat and just see if people were finishing their half-times. Let's see what happens here with this attack.
Sarr has just raced 40 yards to keep the ball in play. Tottenham let him. They were sluggish in response. Palace had possession, leading 3-1. Far side from us then, down their right-hand side. Play back to JD Camvo. All the time in the world to nudge it square to Chadi Riyad. Looks for Gesson on the half-turn. He's dispossessed. Tottenham have it back. Archie Gray. Got to feel sorry for Archie Gray. Gray, a lovely talent. He's been pushed around all over the pitch, played here and there and everywhere, and he brings Tottenham out, looks for Gallagher down the right-hand side. Richards slithers in and toe entered out of play for a throw. Tottenham's charge led there by Archie Gray at 19 years of age, turns 20 in what, some 8-9 days time.
Yeah, it's not ideal for him, like you say, but I tell you what, he'll be getting a better player because of it. He'll have a steeliness. Wouldn't have expected to be in this situation when he signed here, but he is. And do you know what? I think he can come out with some credit. The way he handles himself in these situations, the way he applies himself, the way he never stops running, is an example to some around him.
Steeped in football, Dad Andy, grandson of Frank, great nephew of Eddie, and pulled all the way back for Tottenham to Vicario, who's a bundle of nerves. Angles it out to Archie Gray, deep inside his own half, with Mitchell pushing up behind and pressurising him. Gray can only turn it out of play. His great uncle Eddie was one of my first ever heroes in the game, by the way. 1970 FA Cup final, too early for you, Glenn. Chelsea against Leeds, he destroyed, absolutely destroyed Chelsea in the first game at Wembley. It went to a return, and Chelsea said, we'll put Chopper Harris on him, he'll do a job on him. And Chopper did do a job on him, and Crystal Palace had the ball down below us. But I'll never forget Eddie Gray in that first game. He was tough, Chopper Harris. Here's Kamada for Crystal Palace, trying to worm his way through. Porro tried to bring it out. Wharton gets a block challenge in. Ricochets to Gallagher, 5 yards in from this near touchline. Now Gray tries to scoop ball down the right touchline, looking for Porro. Infield to Solanke. Cross came Camvo to stab a foot out. Pushes it out of play. Throw into Tottenham halfway inside the Palace half, trailing 3-1.
And even though Spurs have started this second half a little bit brighter, it's only going to take one correct move by Crystal Palace, that one where they play up to the centre forward, it's laid back and that third man runner splits the offside. It's only going to take one of those and Ismail Assar's going to be beyond this makeshift Spurs defence, so they need to play with a certain balance in this game.
Mitchell hoists the clearance away out to the Tottenham left wing back position, where it's Baptiste Tell down to 10 after the sending off of Van der Ven for denial of a goal scoring opportunity in conceding the penalty, from which Spurs were pegged back to 1-1. Now Mitchell heads it away for Crystal Palace, deep inside his own half. Gallagher scuttling, trying to get possession back. Good signing for Tottenham Hotspur when he joined in the January window from Atleti for 35 million. Gallagher waiting, there's no movement, and they're waiting and waiting here for Danso to plod up from the back. Crowd getting frustrated, he's not going to take the throw in the end, Pedro Porro is, and that's time wasted when you're 3-1 down. 10 minutes into the second half, listen to the Tottenham fans, they're not liking it. Gray, nice spin again from Archie Gray and comes across, just too high for Solanke, goes to the far side of the penalty area. Tell for Tottenham, promising this, pulls it back, Palhinha shapes to shoot, wide it goes. Stays 3-1 to Palace.
Oh, it was nice by Archie Gray down this right hand side. He just wriggles away, doesn't he? He lifts a ball which I thought was going to be perfect into the middle of the box. He's just slightly high for his number 9, floats over Solanke's head, eventually it arrives at Tell, and he just hesitates a little bit too long before he lets his shot off. And from that point they go further and further back. Palhinha curls a shot from pretty far out, wide of the target.
Gallagher for Tottenham, not a great ball in. Gesson caught in possession. Here's Porro onto Archie Gray, nips between two defenders. Gray's into the penalty area, no free kick as he's nudged down, and Richards passes it back to the goalkeeper who clears, and Tottenham fans howl for a penalty. Lovely run again from Archie Gray, their best player on the night.
Yeah, really good by Archie Gray. I like him a lot, the way he's kept going. He's been a shining example, but I'm just looking at Pedro Porro and he's waving his arms at the fans, asking for more noise. Like, come on, you've got to look after your own performance. They're still here.
Danso will take a long throw in for Spurs now. Into the edge of the 6-yard area, Strand Larsen gets it away. Scorer of Crystal Palace's second goal. Porro has it. Exactly 12 yards inside the Crystal Palace half, plumb dead centre. Danso's to his right, angles it back to the fullback, the Spanish international fullback. Danso has it back in the Tottenham Hotspur, just inside the Palace half, and he turns it 30 yards back to his goalkeeper Vicaria.
Do you know what, JP? I was looking at this depleted Spurs side and the players that are out, and it is quite an incredible list, isn't it? Ben Davies, Udogie, Spence, Kulusevski, Maddison, Bergvall, Bentancur, Kudus, Audeba, and 2 that are banned, Romero and Van der Ven now. It is an awful list, isn't it?
Romero serving the last of his 4 games, I think, tonight. He was sent off recently again in his career, of course. Question marks about his future. It's a throw to Crystal Palace. Was it a free kick? They're taking their time over it, whatever it is. We're seeing on the replay again. Lovely run from Archie Gray. Front foot player, isn't he, Glenn? Archie Gray.
Yeah, he is. I like him a lot. Like we say, the way he's handled himself in this situation, I think he comes out with a bit of credit out of this group without doubt. Never stops trying, but it's that accountability, isn't it? It's personal accountability. He'll be held accountable by his own family. They don't suffer fools lightly, do they?
Danso and Palhinha have just run into each other, with Strand Larsen in close attendance, and Tottenham got away with a little bit, but they're trailing 3-1. Here's Porro. Listen to 5 Live from the BBC. Start of a big FA Cup weekend, beginning with our commentary of Wolves against Liverpool tomorrow. Build up from 7. Up to Strand Larsen, just inside the Tottenham half. One in the air there by Danso. I know Igor Tudor's going to get a lot of flack. Almost inevitable, really. They don't seem to have taken a liking to him. But think of the great managers they've had here, the great names they've had here, who haven't been able to turn it around.
But recently?
In the last, Mourinho's been here, Pochettino's been here.
Conte?
And they haven't been able to turn it around. There's got to be deep in the DNA of Tottenham Hotspur some major problems.
Yeah, do you know what? When you get a look at it, I mean, regardless of who your manager is, where's the accountability? Where's the personal pride, the desire doesn't matter who your manager is. You don't want to have a relegation on your hands. You don't want to be in this situation when you're surrounded by such good football players.
Crystal Palace have possession with young JD Canvo, the signing from Toulouse, the French under-21 international. Back to Richards from Birmingham, Alabama, the USA international. And Ismail Assar has it now for Crystal Palace, down the line, looking for the run of Klein. Klein's crossed into the middle, Strand Larsen facing away from goal, brings it down, Wharton in attendance, switches to his right foot, shoots, blocked by Danso, and it springs away, deep, 80 yards back into Crystal Palace territory. We're approaching the hour. Palace are leading 3-1 at Spurs. And by and large, they've been good value for it as well. The extra man is making a difference now. Klein into the penalty, a dead ball line. Ooh, he absolutely launches across through the penalty area there. That's like he needed a little tickle down to fine leg, and he's absolutely ballooned it over deep mid-wicket. Unfortunately for him, there were no Indian players to catch the ball as they were against England today, in what was in the end a really exciting run chase, but they're out. I enjoyed listening to it. Test match special team over there, been great to listen to them all the way through the tournament. Stephen Finn, I think, has had an excellent tournament in the commentary box. Simon Mann used to go to school with me. Here's Kamada for Crystal Palace, left hand corner of the box. Gesson runs it into a little bit of trouble. Porro will clear his lines. Sarr for Spurs, training 3-1 on the hour, 5 live from the BBC. Tell cutting in from the left hand side, unopposed. Palace quite happy for him to have the ball. Now Porro has a little check. What's on up front? Drops the pass in short to Solanke, cleared by Richards only as far as Gallagher. They can get another one. If they can get one in this second half, in the next 10 minutes, this place can come alive again. Gallagher tries to get beyond Richards, runs into him between the box and the right-hand touchline, spins again Gallagher and forces the corner off Chris Richards.
Yeah, it would put an element of doubt in Crystal Palace minds, wouldn't it? I wouldn't say they're managing the game well, Crystal Palace, for the situation they're in. Spurs are having a go.
Spurs would need 3 to get anything out of the game. Palace have conceded 3 in recent games. Home to Burnley, home to Chelsea. They seem to have turned around that miserable run they were on. This would galvanise that run of improved performances. They are 3-1 up, but defending this corner kick. Porro with it from the right-hand side, angles it slightly too deep. It's headed away to Tell. Trying to check back to his right-hand side and work it out to the right-hand touchline. Gallagher will do just that. Porro trying to get a run off Kamada, who came across and simply ran into his man. A goal kick has been given now. Daichi Kamada made no attempt to play the ball. He turned, he looked at the Tottenham player and ran into him.
Yeah, no, he didn't, did he? He waited till the very last moment and then just barged into Porro, who's still down. Kamada is consoling him. Porro's asking the question to the linesman who's closest to him. It was a little bit of a torrent of abuse, an arm gesture. Not very happy, Tottenham man.
Well, he clearly didn't look at the ball, Kamada. He just like watching a blocker in American football. That just ran into Porro. He's holding his ribs and spinning his right arm, like Pete Townsend used to do with his guitar for The Who. I don't think he was that badly injured. Pete Townsend, Glenn, no, before your time?
The Who, yes, The
Who. Produced by Bill Curbishley, brother of Alan Curbishley, manager of Charlton Athletic, West Ham and so on. He produced Quadrophenia the movie, I don't know if you knew that. Crystal Palace, what are we looking at here? Substitute coming on?
Brennan Johnson, former Spurs man. I wonder what he thinks of the situation at his former club.
I hope he gets a good reaction when he comes on from the Spurs fans. Here's Sarr. Back into his own penalty area, Vicario. Big speculation before the game that Vicario wouldn't be in the goal, Kinski would. Whether or not there was a change of mind, change of heart at the end. Palace have it back, Wharton scoops it to the halfway line, 3-1. And Strand Larsen nearly got Gesson away. Vicario has to come out of his penalty area, all in orange, and head it clear. And Wharton is very quick to pounce on Porro. Couldn't keep it in play, and then the referee's given a free kick against Wharton. Belatedly,
Well, you mentioned Brennan Johnson. I would like to think he would get a very warm welcome with the stature of the goal that he scored at the end of last season, the Europa final.
You can hear that Palace fans singing his name. Join them from Tottenham Hotspur. The January window. He was here for 2 years, played over 100 games for them. 107 actually. 27 goals, the most important one, won the Europa League. Hasn't yet scored for Crystal Palace. Just need to freshen it up a little bit, I think, the Eagles here.
Could this be the night? Could this be the night he gets his goal?
Yeah. You again see pictures of Igor Tudor, one Tottenham fan yawning and shaking his head. And a young Tottenham woman supporter scratching her head in disbelief, I think. Oliver Glasner is animated. Palace have possession and they're on the attack down the right hand side, attacking the Spurs defence. In comes across, looking for Strand Larsen. Well played, Danso got it away. The clearance drops to Richards. Gallagher prods it in the direction of Sarr. It's all a bit scrambly. Sarr comes out with the ball. Here's Gallagher facing his own goal. He's 30 yards out from his goal. And he did well. Back to Danso. Crowd applauds. A lot of them have come back into the second half, but not certainly by no means all of them. We did see pictures of fans streaming away down the high road.
I was going to throw that one at you, JP, actually. I was giving them a moment to come back in after their half-time beverages or whatnot. How empty do you think it is? 40% have left?
Well, there's big gaps, maybe not that many, but you can see empty grey seats all around us. Palace have possession. Gesson, 5 Live from the BBC. 66 minutes gone. Gesson allowed to travel here. 30, 40 yards. If he plays Sarr in, Sarr could get another one here for Crystal Palace. Is he onside? Oh, Gesson carried, and by the time he released, Ismaila Sarr was offside. The referee spotted the flag but says play on because Tottenham had the ball, and then Mitchell just clips Pedro, easy for me to say, Pedro Porro as he spun, and it's a free kick for Tottenham Hotspur, 2 yards outside their penalty. What a chance that was for Palace, Glenn.
Yeah, Gesson just meanders right through the heart of the midfield, doesn't he? And he should play the ball an awful lot earlier, because Ismaila Sarr would have had a shot on target. Once it gets to him, he tries to put it back across for Strand Larsen, but he had just strayed offside again this evening.
Oh, this is lovely to hear. Ovation for Brennan Johnson from all 4 corners of the ground. On comes the man whose goal gave Tottenham the Europa League trophy before he moved on to Crystal Palace in the summer. Their first trophy since 2008. 11 different clubs have won trophies in the top flight since 2008. Not just in the top flight, I think I'm including Wigan in that. Now, Spurs are about to make another substitution as well, I can tell you, because Richarlison's getting ready. They've got a very thin-looking bench. They've already sent Gallagher and Bissouma on. They've got youngsters on that bench as well, with no experience at all, but they're on the attack here. This is a good run and a stab at goal by Solanke, as he came in off that left-hand touchline and drilled it at the keeper, who saved well.
Well, do you know what, as he was driving in off that left-hand side, he had a look, there was no options in the box, so he knew he had to sort of manufacture a shot in some capacity, and he ducks inside Richards and he pulls it back across to the near post. It's actually a good stop from the Crystal Palace goalkeeper Henderson with his feet. A warning shot from Spurs.
Tottenham have it on the far side from me. Bissouma tucks it back into his own half, but it's launched then up towards Porro, looked a little bit offside, headed it out wide to Archie Graves, off the pace, couldn't get there. It was not a good header by Porro, and Palace have possession again. Kamada, Strand Larsen back to him, Gallagher doing the intensive pressure, but Crystal Palace maintain possession at 3-1 up with 22 minutes to go on 5 Live. Adam Wharton all alone, centre circle, rolls the pass out to Chadi Ria, the Moroccan international, so beset by injuries since he joined. Needs a a run of games, needs a run of luck, the former Barcelona youngster. Palace fans applauding every touch of the ball by a man in red and blue.
Yeah, good spell of possession by Palace, just keeping the ball, being expansive. Hard to mark for this 10-man Spurs, moving the ball around this back line, recycling it from the right to the left, to the left to the right, just waiting for that moment to go into midfield to try and penetrate Spurs.
Here's Chaddy Rian again. Time to roll it back to Chris Richards, who's led that defensive trio very well today. Only missed 4 games this season. He started 11 in a row now. The USA international, not in their recent squad. In the Copa America in 2024, hopes to be part of their World Cup squad. Daichi Kamada, current Japanese international. And JD Cambo. Strand Larsen on the turn, goes for goal from inside the penalty area and shoots wide. Goodness me, Glenn Murray, how much room did he have in there to get the turn off?
An awful lot, didn't he? Chopped back in and tries to swing at these left foot. It's not an awful long way wide. You can see what the Crystal Palace striker's doing, but if that messes in the back of the net, that would have been some sequence of passes leading to that goal.
Well done, Glenn, covering for me again. Got Puffin Billy next to you tonight, the old cough and cold.
But at least the spring's here.
I won't let you down. Vicario outside his 6-yard area. Palace fans trying to put him off, but he angles the pass out towards that far side. Tottenham have possession. And here's Kevin Danso out to Porro, long seeking pass, far too far from Dominic Solanke though, and into the hands of Henderson, who can roll it out. And Spurs' initial burst at the start of the second half seems to be dissipating a little bit. Down to 10, they've had to do a lot of chasing at the start of this second half. Richards, plenty of time inside the centre circle, taps it to his left hand side. Palace doing nothing to increase the tempo of the game. They don't want to. They want to slow it down.
No, they've got a busy fixture list coming up as well as Spurs. They feel as though the points are in the bag here. It's about game management. I'm sure they'd like one more just to put it completely out of reach of Spurs, but they're happy to play keep ball.
Managing it much better than they were about 5 or 6 minutes ago, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. They've just become a little bit more expansive, and they're going into Strand Larsen with ease. And I just feel at any point they could break this Spurs back line. 2 or 3 really good passes.
Wharton into Strand Larsen. He's gone down in the penalty area. The referee says it's a free kick to Spurs as Strand Larsen rolled beyond his defender, both of whom have ended up on the deck, Danso and Strand Larsen. And we're seeing it again into Strand Larsen's foot, and he kicks down onto Danso. The referee got it right.
Yeah, it's I think the best described as a coming together. I actually do think the Crystal Palace man gets there as the Spurs man touches the ball as well. Referee reads that situation rather well.
Pedro Porro is complaining to the referee. I think he feels that Strand Larsen dived, he didn't. And another Spurs substitution. Xavi Simons is going to come on for them. And Richarlison too. They've got to go for it. At 3-1 down. Richarlison's reward for scoring at the weekend at Fulham was a place on the bench again. Last start was in the league was January the 4th. He comes on for Solanke. What have you made of his performance today?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a goal. It's hard to judge him on it. He's never stopped running. He holds it up when he can. But ultimately, the creation around him and the supply line hasn't been there, JP.
Porro's going to come off. He had the captain's armband after Van der Ven was sent off. He's given the armband to Vicario. It might raise a few eyebrows amongst Spurs fans.
I'm not sure what exactly he's shouting and screaming right at the fourth official as he comes off. I mean, Do your talking on the pitch.
Oh, he's just swept down an arm and cuffed the back of a seat as he goes down there into the dugout. Plays with his heart on his sleeve, Pedro Porro. He's still chuntering away down there as he puts on his big padded sort of sleeping bag thingy. And Palace clear up to the halfway line. No, they don't. They've given it away. Simmons. Tottenham 3-1 down. 16 minutes to go. Simmons looks for the return. And it's cut away from Canvo, who's been steady tonight for Crystal Palace. Throw to Spurs if they can get one. Can they reawaken the crowd? Can they reawaken this big club? Porro looks disgusted with something or other. The referee, the assistant referee, demons in his head. Who knows? It's going to be a throw to Tottenham on 5 Live. Danso warms up, takes the throw in, and it's come in the end off a Tottenham player, Papsar, I think. It's going to be a goal kick. They got it all wrong there.
Yeah, he did, yeah. It was low, missile into the box. Can't quite find a Spurs player.
You know, the list of the Tottenham players I read out at half-time, great names for the past. There's so many you could put in there. Archibald, Crooks. Great names for the past, great tradition. Big names watching from the touchline, all out injured. That has made a big difference to the season, but a lot of clubs have a lot of injuries. Sarr pressurising Danso, who turns it around. And it's cleared away now by Basima on the angle. Chance for Xavi Simons to take on Wharton. It was a sloppy pass from him, but he gets the benefit of the poor clearance by Kamada and goes between Kamada and also Brennan Johnson it was. Then he holds up play as he advanced towards the edge of the penalty area. Tottenham fans a bit dismayed by that. They're forced backwards now. It was an opportunity. It's gone, you'd have thought, with a quarter of an hour to go, trailing 3-1 on 5 Live. Archie Gray. Gray to the right-hand touchline. Gallagher has it. Back again then to Archie Gray. And all the way to his goalkeeper. And Vicario launches long, up towards Richarlison. Beaten in the air by Richards. Quickly on towards Papasar. He's fouled by Wharton. And it's going to be a free kick for Tottenham, halfway inside the Palace half, and plumb dead centre.
Yeah, he's Basuma standing over it. Xavi Simons wants it. Simons been a bright spark. I've actually really enjoyed his performances for Spurs throughout the season. Felt for him at times in that number 10 when he didn't really have a natural number 9 in front of him, but definitely a very good player in there.
Here's Danso, left-hand side of a centre-back trio. Palhinha, the central player of that trio, and Archie Gray now right-side centre-back of 3 with Gallagher playing in the right wing-back role. As Igor Tudor spins things on again. Xavi Simons to the left-hand side of Bissouma and Papasar. Gray closed down by Johnson, and it's going to be a throw to Tottenham with 77 minutes gone. They're trailing 3-1 and they're deep inside their own half.
Referee's had enough.
There's going to be a substitution here. Hughes has come on. Where's the referee gone?
He's gone down the tunnel.
Well, the assistant referee is, I think, suggesting there might be a communications problem. 77 minutes gone. Maybe he's been caught short.
Toilet break? No,
there he is. He's getting communications.
It's becoming common, this, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Millions of pounds in the game, billions of pounds in the game. We need the communications, they say, to help the referees and the assistants, and then they break down. It's the little things. Andrew Madley, very strong to give that penalty to Crystal Palace in the first half, and bang on with the goal that he ruled out for offside. We're seeing again the incident that got Van der Ven sent off.
Yeah, it was. It was a very quick reaction, and then he brandished that red card pretty swiftly afterwards. And I did think in real time, has he gone too early? Is he too quick fire in that decision? But when I get a view of it and I get a replay of it, I thought he was absolutely bang on. As we see him getting, well, kind of undressed and strapped up by a couple of his team.
Yeah, referees have their own teams as well now. There's so many people around the dressing room area these days. Incredible. Used to have a manager, an assistant, physio, maybe a trainer, and a referee would pitch up on his own. Assistants would join him, or linesmen as they used to be called now. All sorts of people involved. So Hughes is going to come on, Uche is going to come on as well. We're seeing pictures of the tunnel area. There's two men around the referee, Andrew Madley. The fans are getting restless and started booing. You can understand why. Live Live from the BBC, not missing any action unless watching a referee get partially undressed, partially dressed, and getting a radio strapped to his arm floats your boat. Maybe it does, I don't know. Did it float your boat, Glenn Murray?
Oh, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, come on.
Well,
like I said, this has been numerous occasions over the past couple of weekends, and they're not quick. It's not a quick little break. It's not plugging something on. It's a top off. It's wires down his back, in his ears. I mean, here he comes. Is he going to get a cheer?
Then he comes out, rolls his eyes towards the heavens.
Well, I mean, it's not his fault, is it, in all fairness?
He gets booed as he returns. Here comes Constantius Uche.
He was never going to get cheered, was he, JP?
Sam Larson's gone off for Uche to come on.
I'd be gutted getting brought off in this stage as a centre forward. A real opportunity to get more goals for your new club. And the club's at 10 men, the game's wide open, and as this game ticks on, Spurs are going to have to venture forward a little bit more. What that will leave is gaps at the back. As far as I'm concerned, opportunities.
Klein scuttles across to cover as Tottenham looked for Simons. Wharton was the other player to go off for Crystal Palace, by the way, to allow Will Hughes to come on. Hughes, steady Eddie there. He's actually started 11 of their last 18 games, but recently he's come off the bench. Uche on for Strand Larsen, who was cautioned early. Long throw in from Danso into the 6-yard area. Goalkeeper comes, punches it away. Back out to Danso, who waited, was then dispossessed by Mitchell, who coming out of the defence on an angled run, bumped into him. The referee's given a free kick against Danso, and Basuma's been booked here for dissent, I think.
Well, no, I think it was the manner that Basuma approached the referee. He kind of ran towards Andrew Madley. I feel as though Kevin Danso knew what he was doing there. He kind of held his ground, knowing that Mitchell was going to win the ball, and then just stood really strong and kind of shoulder barged him to the floor. I think Andrew Madley called that one correctly.
Well, I don't think we're going to get stuck in a traffic jam leaving, because the bottom tier of the East stand is, I'd say, certainly a third empty. The North stand, look at the lower tiers there.
Well,
they poured away.
I just hope they don't lock the car parks early, JP.
There's a free kick Crystal Palace's way. Uche is levered to the ground. Man on loan from Getafe. He only played 38 minutes of football since January. I think they've got to make their mind up on Constantius Uche, Nigerian international. 7.5 minutes to go, and you have to say in the last 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, Palace have managed the 3-1 lead very well.
Yeah, the game's just kind of drifting, isn't it, really, which is perfect from a Crystal Palace point of view. All the onus is on Spurs. They need to make something happen in what is it, we're in the 83rd minute, last 7 minutes plus a little bit of stoppage time. I can't see there being as... Oh, well, there actually will be, won't there, because the referee was off for, 4 or 5 minutes there?
That's correct. And the VAR would have been monitoring the time of that delay. Palace have possession inside their own half. Teddy Riyad takes it back again under no pressure whatsoever.
I mean, Crystal Palace have been really happy just keeping the ball at the back, haven't they? They haven't really tried to gain any advantage higher up the field. I mean, sporadically they've gone forward, but there's been no real urgency to put this game to bed, has there?
Sar's angle, ball up to Johnson, is stabbed away by Gray, straight to Uche, direct run into the penalty area, toe plonk of a shot, ricochets away, far side of the penalty area, Sarr settles himself, Ismail Sarr cross from the dead ball line is arcing back for a Tottenham throw, 10 yards inside the Spurs half. That's one of the most curious crosses I've seen all season. But there you go. It's going to be a throw to Spurs. Gallagher takes it, and he's bundled to the ground. Ironic cheers for the referee for giving Tottenham a free kick. To be honest, the Tottenham fans are venting their spleen at anyone they can. You can understand the frustration of Tottenham Hotspur fans.
Do you know what, JP? I'm not sure I've seen a stadium with at least 10 minutes to go in this fixture as empty in the Premier League.
Well, Innick will be looking on. They'll be seeing these pictures, whether or not their representatives, I should say, are here or in the Caribbean or wherever they're watching. They'll see the empty spaces. Here's Simons for them outside the centre, so they can still get something out of this game. They need to score soon. Sarr in inverted rears rolled it back to Simons, who's clipped by Kamada, and it's a free kick here for Tottenham just outside the penalty area.
Well, wherever they're watching, JP, I'm sure it'll be from behind the sofa.
Well, it's good news for Tottenham fans is they've got a free kick in. The bad news for the whole game in general is that Andrew Madley is readjusting his new communication system.
Just going to have to go blind and referee the game. Old school.
Goodness me, whatever next? There'd be assistant referees giving offside decisions next.
And there'd be goals that you could actually celebrate that counted.
Do you think they'd give penalties for people holding each other at the near post? You could be in for a complete revolution of the game. It's a free kick here for Spurs. 6 yards outside the penalty. You listen to 5 Live, thoroughly enjoyable. Love being here with Glenn again. It's going to be a free kick and Xavi Simons will take it. Well, he's certainly going to have a pop here. Palace have all 11 back inside the penalty area. Tottenham only have 10 on the field. Simons settles on it. Right-footed player angling in from the left. 3-yard run-up. Goes low, tries to get it under the wall. And Palace fairly easily cleared away. He's a difficult player to judge, Simons. He's still only 22, but a lot of big clubs have had a look at him. Barcelona, PSG twice, PSV, Leipzig. Now he's at Tottenham. Another long throw by Kevin Danso. It's getting towards the now or never time for Tottenham. In comes the long throw into the penalty area, headed away by Uche. That's a big powerful header away, carried 20 yards. And Basuma tucks it back to Vicaria. A few boos for him as he collects the ball and launches long up towards the edge of the Palace penalty area, which headed away, edged on by Hughes. Another dismal night at the Tottenham Stadium. Another win in 10 games in all, Spurs, since they beat Palace at Selhurst Park just after Christmas, without a home league win in 6 since they beat Brentford here at the start of December.
Riyad looks like he's done. Looks like a few muscles are starting to cramp up on him, not moving quite as fluidly as he did earlier on in the game. I would expect Oliver Glasner to be aware of that, and I expect him to leave the field of play. He's rubbing his right hamstring as we speak.
Sarr managed to work the ball around Paulinho. Doesn't look happy being asked to play centre back. And now Ismaila Sarr sprints for the return, crossing the far post. Mitchell came in, and it's astute defending to get it away for Tottenham Hotspur. Well played.
Yeah, he does well there, doesn't he? Sarr just gets in there at that last moment. It's a good ball by Ismaila Sarr to the back post, and it's Tariq Mitchell that's crashing it. I'm not sure of the angle the Crystal Palace left wing back was approaching it. He would have done much with it. It's quite uncomfortable, should I say, when he's in that opposition 18-yard box. Nevertheless, good defending, last-ditch defending.
2 hours ago, Glenn and I were talking about the warm-up, talking about poor body language in the Tottenham camp. There are 1 or 2 players out there now with poor body language.
Well, Richarlison accusing somebody here of elbowing. He's made a beeline to the referee. He's throwing his right arm, trying to show how he did it. Yeah, there's a little push. He's got back in there in typical Richarlison fashion, and he's pushing Camvo. Fortunately, though, this won't change the scoreline.
Tis Tell also trying to push Camvo away from it. He's 19 years of age, JD Camvo.
I think they're saying that Camvo has thrown an elbow Xavi Simons. We haven't quite seen a replay yet, but there's been a lot made of this incident. Just going to see it here.
Yeah. Before the corner kick was taken, Camvo shrugged an arm back. It caught Simons in the midriff.
I mean, it's much ado about nothing, isn't it? They've got much bigger problems than a little elbow to the midriff.
Just tell me very quickly, because the corner's going to come in. If that happened to you in your career, would you just turn to the player involved and laughed in his face?
I might have put a little note in my book, but I wouldn't have gone running to the referee, especially if I was 3-1 down and a point outside the relegation zone.
Well, Simons is marking Camvo in the 6-yard area, virtually on the goal line. We're in the last 30 seconds now, actually. In comes the cross. Palace player rose at the near post, headed wide. I think it was Camvo in there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was, just crashing across that front post, and he meets it, gets a little bit too much purchase on the header. Oh, it's actually punched onto him by Vicario, and then subsequently goes out for a goal kick. What are you going to take right now?
Older listeners to Five Live will remember Jackie Charlton telling people of his little black book and getting in all sorts of trouble with the league. I'll tell you what, Glenn, I don't know if you ever saw him play. You wouldn't want to be in Jack Charlton's little black book. I worked with him on the telly. What a man. Worked with him in Ireland on the telly. What an experience. Been there for several days. Big Jack never paid for a drink.
I was going to say, can you remember it? I take it from the chuckle, though.
Now here's Richarlison. Loses possession. 5 minutes of stoppage time. We've already had half a minute. Listen to Five Live. Make sure you're all over the weekend with us for the FA Cup starting tomorrow, Wolves-Liverpool. Don't forget as well to listen to the TMS team on Sunday for the T20 World Cup final, India against New Zealand. Not the final that England supporters wanted. Probably the final between the two best teams, given that New Zealand thrashed South Africa. Gray, lovely run. Oh, little 1-2 played by Richarlison. Gray tucks it into Simons, who's fouled by Klein. That's a sweet move by Tottenham, you know.
Yeah, it is. And who's at the heart of it? Archie Gray. He's done very well in this second half. Archie Gray's kept going, links up with Richarlison, runs through the heart of Crystal Palace, just plays a sideward ball to Simons, who is brought down by Nathaniel Klein, and it's a free kick in a very similar situation, maybe another 4 or 5 yards further out, JP, and it's Simons that stands over it. I wonder if this time he will beat the wall. Could he spark a miraculous comeback?
Well,
there's no one left to see it, if there is.
Thousands have left the stadium. Simons, 30 yards from goal. 3 men in the Palace wall. Oh, he's just giving it straight to a Crystal Palace player, Nathaniel Klein. Tell wrestles possession back for Tottenham. Takes on Hughes on the outside. Wins the throw-in. Takes the throw-in. Plays it into Sarr. Sarr's fouled by Camvo. Unnecessary challenge that. Bit raw, bit naive, the tackle. He's going nowhere. And it's a free kick for Tottenham, whose Igor Tudor looks pensive on the dugout. Come on, you Spurs, so it read. 3 ladies of certain age sitting in the stand. Young ladies, all of them, of course.
Yeah, to you, JP, maybe.
Bet they've seen a fair few things over the years, those Tottenham fans. It's a free kick to the far side, and Simons will take it between the penalty box and the far touchline. Right foot scoop, glanced on by Tell, and just wide. Now, if there is a Tottenham player who deserves something out of the game, you think maybe Tell, certainly Archie Gray.
Yeah, I think the two stand out, and it's good by Tell. That front post just glances it. It's kind of a flick on, looking for it to nestle in that far corner. And it does panic Ismail Assar, who is in that area. He jumps as high as he can't quite meet it. Slips past the post and out for a goal kick.
We're seeing a picture of Igor Tudor. We're seeing a picture of the Tottenham hierarchy. We're seeing pictures of disgruntled Tottenham fans who've been treated here at the old White Hart Lane Stadium over the years to so many greats. Gaza, didn't mention him. How could I have forgotten Gaza?
Teddy Sheringham?
Teddy Sheringham. How could I forget Ready Steady Teddy?
Even more recently, your Gareth Bales, your Modric. Harry Kane?
Yeah, I mentioned him. Harry.
Heung-min Son?
Yeah, I forgot him. So many over the years. All wonderful players. A wonderful history for this football club. Winners of the Cup Winners' Cup back in '63, the UEFA or the Europa League 3 times, the last time last May. The League Cup 4 times, the FA Cup 8 times, champions in 51 and 61. Perhaps they've lent on those titles for too long. Palace in possession, in command of the closing stages. They're 3-1 up, and they look long for Sarr. The goalkeeper Vicario comes and launches himself at it and clears it away. Good job he got to the ball, otherwise he'd have been sent off if he'd made contact.
Yeah,
sorry, Glenn.
It's the first time Ismaila Sarr's got behind that back four, hasn't it? Streaking away like we've seen so many occasions this evening, all in the first half. But it is good goalkeeping, sweeper keeping. Manages to get there just before Ismaila Sarr.
Scored Crystal Palace's first goal from the penalty spot and their third. There's 13 goals this season, Pape Sarr. Listen to the Palace fans here. What a win for Crystal Palace. What a win for Palace. Takes them to 38 points and surely safety. But now you can hear the boos ringing out from a half-empty Tottenham Hotspur stadium. Their team has been beaten again at home by 3-1. They are a point above Nottingham Forest and West Ham, having played the same number of games, with fixtures like Liverpool away, Sunderland away, an informed Wolves away, Villa away, a stubborn Leeds at home, Chelsea away, and Everton here at home, where they'll be hoping they don't need points to stay up. Tottenham are in trouble, deep trouble. Beaten here, Glenn Murray 3-1.
Yeah, they are indeed. They are without doubt in a relegation fight. That was their game in hand. They haven't made amends. I think the most disappointing thing about this evening is they went ahead. They had the opportunity to take the game on, to get 3 points. They've done the hard work by getting their noses in front. But Mickey van der Ven giving that penalty away, that red card just swings the game completely. And from that point on, Crystal Palace were really good. They managed the game extremely well. But the damage was done in the stoppage time of the first half, wasn't it? Scoring in the 41st minute, was it? The 47th minute? Sorry, the 46th and the 52nd, I think, minute, because we had a lot of added time, didn't we? So that was when the damage was done. I mean, if you can just get over that line and get in at half-time at 1-1, then it's a completely different picture. You can have a word with your players, you can get a game plan together, how we're going to go forward. But when you ship 2 goals in the stoppage time of the first half, and then all of a sudden the game's gone, the situation's gone, the fans have left, and from that point of view it just got worse and worse. And I've never seen the Premier League ground look so empty with so long to go in a fixture.
Well, I mentioned some of the heroes of the past. I know Clive Allen is here today. I wonder what he's thinking. He plays an ambassadorial role. So does Gary Mabbott, my old Elmley Junior School chump from Bristol days. What must they be thinking? Ellie, what must they be thinking? The Palace fans are left to cheer their heroes, and there aren't many Tottenham fans to console their fallen heroes. They've been beaten here and well beaten.